Some incredible memories there, and three men with me pitchside who know all about navigating their way to a Champions League final, and three men who once plied their trade together at Manchester United, although tonight I'm sure Michael Carrick and Dimitar Berbatov will be lily white, alongside Wayne Rooney to enjoy this one. And you were kind of transfixed, the three of you there, on that fantastic BT. So let's relive some of your own Champions League memories, shall we? A personal one first, Michael.
Yeah, for me, growing up in Newcastle was just incredible.
Can you explain that feeling of what it is like to lift that trophy?
Yeah, it was as the side watching the penalties. You're helpless. You can't do anything, and but to win it and experience, lifting the trophy was something you'll never forget.
Dimitar, your own personal great moment in the Champions League?
Well, I wasn't fortunate enough.
Against Roma, and you're smiling there when he said it was a pure moment of imagination. As a goal scorer, you can appreciate that.
Yeah, well, Berber, his whole game was about imagination. So no,
improvisation.
A fantastic goal, but yeah, no, listen. In this competition, the best in players for sure.
So now I want to know your favourite Champions League, but I think you might have given the game away slightly, Michael, where we're going with you. But we'll start with you, Dimitar. Your favourite Champions League moment that you've enjoyed watching as a spectator?
Well, it was a good, but, it was bad for us. But that goal is one of the best ever. Yeah,
and that was at Hampden Park, of course, wasn't it? What about you, Wayne?
Yeah, mine was actually 99, watching it at... It was a magical moment, remember?
I was there that night watching it in the stadium. There were quite a few people who didn't wait for the end and disappeared, thinking it was all over for Manchester United, of course. It was a dramatic finish, but a brilliant one. Michael, go on, you've kind of set it up. Yeah, come on.
Jumped the gun a bit, no?
Yeah, great scenes there at St James's Park. Well, as the European Cup enters its 71st season, it welcomes back two storied clubs, teams that have delivered unforgettable moments over the years and believe their best is yet to come. Well, the Europa League champions have arrived. They qualified, of course, for this competition after beating Manchester United in Bilbao. I can guess who Wayne was supporting in that final.
With the stadium, with the new manager, for me, a really exciting group of players find themselves coming into tonight.
And when you compare and contrast the two clubs, Manchester United and Spurs, and how they've started this season and the optimism and the positivity that is around this place, contrasted with Manchester United's start, that trophy is significant in that.
Yeah.
Would it have made a difference to Manchester United? Do you think things would be different? The start to the season would feel different in terms of who you can attract?
I think it's a big competition.
What kind of challenge will Villarreal pose, do you think, tonight for Spurs? They're a team that they finished 5th last season, but they've been on quite a good run in terms of domestic wins. They've had 8 out of 10. They're in a decent run of form domestically. In terms of your
league
even
football,
in the league phase, you think it?
I think so. I think it to normal league football.
OK, thanks for the moment. There are 6 Champions League matches.
He's saying no.
I'm sure the snacks aren't as good up there either. And more from Alex later once she abseils down. But for now, let's check in with our commentary duo, enjoying a much more civilised pre-match activity, no doubt.
Well, Gavin.
Well, Papa Matasar seems to be loving the freedom that he has been given this season. Does it appear to you that Thomas Frank is giving him a little bit more of a licence to roam and do what he wants?
I think he recognizes the talent, the freedom, not always, sometimes, probably, to go roam when the chance is there so he can score goals.
And he's the only central midfielder, Michael, to have played every game so far for Spurs this season. Is it, for Thomas Frank, such a bonus to have a player who can play anywhere across the middle?
Yeah, I mean, it's a dream as a forward.
And one of the things that Thomas Frank was known for at Brentford is making players better, because that was kind of part of what he had to do with a club who had more limited resources. And clearly there are certain players that he's hoping to grow here. Tell us a little bit about a manager that you might have worked with.
I think obviously Alex Ferguson was well known for all of us and for many players.
But it's not every manager, is it, though, who does that? Not every manager sees it when he's got, a Premier League team, sees it as his job to improve players. Certain managers seem to enjoy that more than others.
Well, I think the job of the manager, and I have here one manager, another manager. I've never been a manager in my life. But from experience playing, it's great when the manager trusts in you, see the talent you have. Of course, you have liberty sometimes, depending on the opposition you're playing or the score during the game. But to show...
We've done that a lot.
And you need to go and show that, yes, he trusts me.
He's talking like he hasn't.
Trust me, and I'm going to do the job for you.
Yeah.
that's how you say to a manager, thank you for the trust.
Yeah. OK, it's a Champions League debut, of course, for Tottenham's head coach, Thomas Frank, after 30 years in the game. It's an inspirational story, actually, built on a unique approach to coaching. And one man has been with him throughout his career path, as Gabriel Clark reports. Apology. We just talked about how he wants to get the best out of players, but how do you assess his start to life here at Tottenham, Dimitar?
It's perfect. I mean, the way the fans think, but
Is the biggest challenge for him? Because we know he's got the tactical nous, he's a great coach, he's obviously a good leader. The ambition and scrutiny is on a different level here to Brentford, and how he handles that.
But he's so honest in how he talks to the media and is massive.
In a word, would you have liked to have played under somebody like Thomas Frank?
Absolutely. I think watching that VT, then you see how he'll continue that.
You can hear the Champions League music ringing out around the stadium here. It hasn't done that for a few seasons. We're about an hour away from kick-off here at Tottenham Hotspur Stadium. So let's dive into the team news in a bit more detail now with our commentary duo, Alan Shearer and John Champion.
And Gabby, there is...
Do you expect them to be quite defensive in the way they set up tonight, Villarreal, and maybe just play on the counter against Spurs?
Well, that's the interesting part, you know. And
Pepe knows North London reasonably well. Never really got going at Arsenal, did he? £70 million signing. He's already scored 2 goals, though, this season for Villarreal.
Yeah, I think sometimes, you know,
Premier League player that we were familiar with. Alan said, you know, he did a great job for Newcastle United. There's a lot of familiarity with, you know, these two sides, isn't there? They'll know each other well, these players.
they do, but when you step onto the pitch, there's no more friends that you would like to win the game.
Because they've learned a lot, in spite of the fact that the domestic season was pretty much a disaster, finishing 17th. You learn a lot through a European season, being able to get yourself to a final and win it. Wayne?
yeah, you do, and I think, you know, they've
Fearful of if you're Villarreal.
if you're a Tottenham fan and fearful, yeah, it's a big night for Tottenham. They'll certainly be going to get 3 points. I believe that they probably will do that tonight.
OK, well, you might have seen this doing the rounds on social media, but Michael visited the Spurs training ground last week for an exclusive chat with Thomas Frank. So here's a little taster from this interview.